VMware vSAN Specialist 5V0-22.21 exam questions are newly updated with correct answers for your preparation. 1. A vSAN administrator is using the vSAN Ready node sizer to build a new environment. While entering the cluster configurations, a fellow colleagues inquire about the Operations Reserve option. What is the purpose of using this option? A. Configures space for external operations. B. Provides space for internal operations. C. Reserves space for tolerating failures. D. Allocates space for vSAN upgrades. Answer: B. 2. Which solution can automate the deployment of a vSAN cluster as part of a full software-defined data center? A. VMware Cloud Foundation. B. vSphere Replication. C. vRealize Suite Lifecycle Manager. D. VMware Cloud Director. Answer: A. 3. An administrator will be performing a rolling upgrade of a vSAN cluster over the weekend. In preparation, the administrator runs the data migration pre-check. Which two items are being checked? Choose 2. A. vSphere host state. B. Object compliance and accessibility. C. DRS settings. D. Affinity rules. E. Cluster capacity. Answer: B. E. 4. A vSAN administrator has two identical VMware vSAN clusters, one for staging workloads and another for production workloads. Due to an unforeseen capacity requirement, the vSAN administrator is tasked with merging the staging vSAN cluster into the production. Which two actions should the vSAN administrator perform on the staging cluster prior to moving the vSAN nodes to the production cluster? Choose 2. A. Remove all capacity drives. B. Delete all disk groups. C. Enable file services. D. Disable vSAN services. E. Mark the disks for partial reservation. Answer: B. D. 5. The administrator has successfully deployed a vSAN stretched cluster and needs to ensure that any virtual machines that are created are placed in the appropriate site. Which two steps are needed to complete this task? Choose 2. A. Put the VMs in a vSphere DRS group. B. Create a storage policy that includes site affinity rules and apply to VMs. C. Create a single VM host group across both sites. D. Create VM host groups for the two sites. E. Put the VMs in the correct VM group. Answer: B. D. 6. A vSAN cluster has the following configuration: 4 hosts with 1 disk group per host. Each disk group contains 1 cache device and 7 capacity devices. What are 2 ways to increase the vSAN data store storage capacity? Choose 2. A. Add a capacity drive to each disk group. B. Replace a cache device with a larger cache device. C. Add a disk group to each host. D. Add a cache device to each disk group. E. Add a host to the cluster. Answer: A. C. 7. A VMware vSAN administrator is configuring advanced monitoring with VMware vRealize Operations Manager and has the following requirement: ability to receive analytical information from the hard drive to determine a possible future failure of the hard drive. What should be enabled for data collection when configuring the vSAN adapter instance? IOPS, input, output operations per second. BDST, disk self-test. C-Smart, self-monitoring, analysis and reporting technology. DSSP, storage service provider. Answer: C. 8. What are two purposes of a vSAN storage policy? Choose 2. A. To determine vSAN encryption level. B. To enable trim, unmap. C. To define how the VM storage objects are provisioned. D. To guarantee the required level of service. E. To enable deduplication and compression. Answer: C, D. 9. A currently deployed vSAN cluster must deliver persistent storage to be used by vSphere with Tanzu. The administrator needs to properly configure the vSAN direct configuration for this solution. Which 3 steps should be taken? Choose 3. A. Configure vSAN file services for vSAN direct. B. Assign the storage policy to the container VMs. C. Create a storage policy for vSAN direct. D. Create a vSAN storage policy with FTT = 0. E. Assign the storage policy to the namespace. F. Claim unused disks for vSAN direct. Answer: C, D, F. 10. Which 2 actions are recommended when adding a host to a vSAN cluster? Choose 2. A. Disable vSphere High Availability, HA. B. Create uniformly configured hosts. C. Reference the VMware Compatibility Guide. D. Disable vSphere Cluster Services, VCLS. E. Disable vSAN Performance Service. Answer: B, C.